Welcome back to another episode of A Little Bit Lit. Today you join Sam and I with Kiwi author Kat Sirota.
Hi, everyone. Yay, thanks for having me.
So welcome to the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Our first proper official get. No, we've had our friend
Real.
that's an author on, but yeah.
I feel quite
But
honoured.
we're so excited to have you. So first off, Sam's got this great question because she didn't realise that authors can pick their own name. It's not like your birth name necessarily or whatever. So, Sam, what did you want to ask Kat?
Is your author name your real name?
It is, yes.
Okay.
And I know. So my full name is Catherine, but no one calls me that other than if I'm in trouble. But yeah, so Kat's my kind of nickname. And I kind of wish I had gone with a pen name, but I didn't. It's too late. So we're down that rabbit hole. We're going with it.
Why do you wish you'd gone with a pen?
Well, I mean, a couple of reasons. One is my brain can't cope with a secondary name. So my brain can't actually cope with an ulterior name. So I was like, I need to keep my life as simple as possible and just kind of have one name and that's it. But then it's quite interesting talking to authors who do have pen names because a lot of them have adopted pen names for a variety of reasons, but a key one is actually around identity security. So, kind of putting that separation in between your real identity and, kind of the masses out there. And I mean, it's not really until you get really freaking big that you need to worry about the whole kind of identity security. And I was actually at an event with Rebecca Yarros, was it last year when she came? And she said that she's actually received death threats at her house. And she's completely up sticks and move her house because the death threats that she was, I know.
Yeah.
So that kind of made me go,
so
shit. Okay.
Yeah, you might write a book that people feel so strongly about that for some reason they're like, hey, bitch, you should die.
Exactly.
But I think
it's mental to think that.
The internet is such a scary place anyway. We've seen authors with pen names who everything still got found out, right? Oh, that's terrifying to think about, and I never actually really have sat with that thought like that.
I know. Well, it didn't actually, literally, the penny didn't drop until I was in that session when she said that. And I was like, crap. I was like, oh, well, too late. We're down that rabbit hole. Just got to rock with it.
YOLO. No, it's definitely not my real name.
Yeah, no, it's not. And this is not my address. Is it hard to change to a pen name? Like, would it be hard marketing or would you just pick one or the other, like Cat something?
Yeah, it would. I don't think
Sirota.
it would necessarily be too hard for me to do now. I mean, I'm still relatively, I suppose, new and unknown. Do you know what I mean? Compared to others in the market. And I have seen a couple of authors who have kind of got on Instagram and said, hey, this is a heads up. I'm actually switching to a pen name. So you will no longer see this. They've still kept the Instagram, but they've just changed it. They've had to get their books all redone. So it is doable. But yeah, I mean, for the moment, I'm kind of like, it is what it is. We'll just roll with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait for the death threats to roll in.
Yeah,
Fingers
for the death. Luckily, we live on an island on the bottom of the arse of the world. So, it's not like we live in the States.
I would like to think Kiwis are a lot more chill about that. We're more like that
100%.
nice to your face, say something in the back kind of
Yeah. Exactly. So so I'm kind of like, I think that's why I'm also like, it's less of a problem in New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
surely.
and I think someone I think of doing a pen name kind of lateral shift left and right is Cece Davey. So she's got Cece Davey, Chaos Davey, C Davey. And
so she's got like 4 or 5, doesn't she?
Yeah, different genre, different kind of name. But because she's kept the central Davey, I'm like, oh, that's her.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think I will, if I do switch genres, I think I'll get a pen name. But for now, I'll just keep in the fantasy genre, I'll just keep my real name.
She's a really good fantasy author name, though. I feel like your natural name is actually quite a nice. So, what's your star sign?
I'm a Gemini, and I'm a hardcore Gemini.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so it says Tamara quickly jumping to Google to double check the Gemini
trait. Report today.
So you're an air sign? And you're symbolized by a set of twins, communicative, intellectual, and curious. Oh, I feel like this makes a great author. That feels on point.
Great author. Feels very creative, but woo woo.
Yeah,
woo woo. I love that. That's so me, woo woo.
Aren't we all a bit woo woo? A little bit woo woo. And your fave fictional character. I know this is a hard one, but we thought we'd start with like get to know you questions. So who would be your fave fictional character if you, gun to your head, just had one?
Do you know what? It would be Griffin from the Bonds That Tie.
Okay.
From
I
Jay
love that.
in Jay Bree's novel.
Jay
He's
Bree.
He's like my ultimate book boyfriend, but I just love him as a
Bonds
character.
That Tie?
Yes, yeah.
I love that series.
Doing her inventory. Yeah.
I was
Sam's
like
spoken about that
through.
series a few times.
Yeah.
I have not read it yet, but I've heard of the series, and I
dragon?
feel like Sam's mentioned the character before.
No,
Which one's
he's
Griffin?
the tech team leader.
Oh, yes. Yeah, Daddy Griffin. Yeah, big into it. Really.
Daddy Griffin?
Really into
Yeah.
it. Well, he's like, they've really scratched the itch the scratch. They've really hit the spot of like military fantasy. They've kind of they combine that really well.
Yes, yeah. But I just love him as a character, and he's my ultimate book boyfriend as well. So 2 birds, 1 stone.
Also, great name.
Amazing.
Really into that name.
It is a really good name, actually.
I was just worried. We're just trying to rule out if you say Pharaoh, we'll be like, oh, that's so good. That's so good. Yeah.
Yay!
Hamlin! Yay! Okay. On that note, what book will you defend with your whole chest? Because we are both, okay, we kind of went the typical route as a lot of fantasy girls, and we started with our ACOTAR to get us into fantasy, and we thought we liked Tamlin, and we thought it was the best thing in the whole world. And then now
the
that,
sheets was hot, the ripping sheets, we were like, yay.
And as you get into more fantasy, you realise, and like if you reread it, you realise it's definitely like a beginner fantasy, right? And it's not.
Oh yeah.
It's more nostalgic. You might enjoy it, but we still defend it with our whole chest. So, what for you would be a book or a book series that you will always stand and say, "Yeah, that's a good one"?
Well, that's really hard.
The other ones on my list, I have Icebreaker. So Icebreaker, I read at a time where I wanted the world to reflect how I felt, and I hadn't. Well, the world's not doing it at the moment, right? We're at a dumpster fucking hellfire. And I read that book and I was like, this world's perfect. Everyone's inviting.
I'll just live in here. You guys go deal over there.
I'll just jump in this page and move in. And then the other one I have is Pucking Around, because same thing. I was looking for polyamory. I was looking for a world. I know, where people just went, yeah, you want to have 4 guys? Yeah, cool. And I was like,
just do it.
Go
just go.
hard.
Yeah.
So hard. Those are my other 2 that I'm like, they really, it's not about how they're written. It's not necessarily about the content or how sexy they are. It's about the world just
about
making
how
you
they
feel
make you feel.
safe.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'm trying to think. What book would I defend? I'm
the same with Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas.
I hate that
Enemies
book.
by Tian. Yeah, I know. Sam hates Enemies by Tian, but I love it because, again, comfort read, COVID comfort read. And Birthday Girl by Penelope Douglas was the first sort of taboo age gap romance I read, because she dates her ex-boyfriend's dad.
Naughty.
And I was like, oh, you know what?
Okay.
I don't mind
We're going there. Yeah, I'm trying to think. What would be my the one that I'm looking at my phone, because do you know when you've read so many books, and you're just like,
and I think
trying to
you said
sift through your mind.
On the Grimoire episode, those little snippets that you've been doing, I think, did you say you read like 170 books a year or something like that?
That's before I started writing. Yeah. It was like, I think the year that I've read the most books, it was 176 books.
That's insane.
I know.
That's
but it's
that your
because
first year back in and you were like, oh my God, these are amazing. And you just ate them.
So
you just
many.
ate the pages.
Yeah. Well, because it was, so I was working at the time, I was working for Amazon, and my job was so busy that at night, if I watched TV, I would just gravitate towards my laptop or answering emails. And so my husband was like, you need to switch off because your stress levels are like way up here. So I started reading more, but then I'd read for like 5 hours a night. So I'd read straight hours, 5 hours a night. And then on the weekends, I'd reading even more. So you just chew through books at that time, right? And so that's how you just quickly kind of rack up that amount of books, right? Yeah.
And with Kindle
And you
Unlimited,
an
the next
audio-
book is right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And are you an
Yeah.
audiobook girl as well? So like when you're walking or driving
No,
or
only
training?
for nonfiction. So nonfiction, I
Okay.
audiobook because
That's a
I
good
refuse
hack.
to read. I refuse to read. I refuse to spend my time reading shit that's in our world. I'm like, no,
Yes.
ours already crap.
Yes.
I don't need.
Oh,
I need to-
I resonate with that. I'm not wasting
is-
my imagination time on miserable
Yeah.
shit, you know?
Yeah.
Okay,
So I was like,
I do
I was
get
like,
that.
personal development, growth, business. No, that's all.
While
That's all
doing the
audio.
dishes, fine.
Yes.
While like out for a walk,
Perfect.
all good.
Yeah. Yeah. But my like relaxed time and downtime is spent for escapism, right?
Absolutely.
Exactly. If there's not a dragon
Yeah.
that has a massive
Or four of
penis,
them.
And I can imagine doing the dishes and listening to a sex scene and just like washing the glass to pieces and being like, yeah, okay. And
Smash.
he did that. Yeah. Oh, whoops.
amazing.
I realize I still haven't answered your question. We'll come back to it. I'll keep thinking. I'll keep
Think
looking
about it.
through
No
my piece.
pressure.
Actually, I've got it. The book that I always defend is Radiance by Grace Draven.
Not
Oh,
read it. Tell us about
Going
it.
to Goodreads, yeah. Give us
She-
the
so-
spiel.
It's fantasy, but it's kind of weird because it's such a good book. Grace Draven, she just writes so beautifully, and this book has all of the fantasy elements in terms of the action, the spiciness, but it's also just a really good feel good fantasy. Like it's got the
Oh,
best
cool.
happy end ever after. Yeah, it's just a fantastic read, and it's not as well known as I think it should be, but it's it's
Yeah.
a wonderful, wonderful read, and I highly recommend for anybody to read it. And it's only 2 books.
Putting it
There
on
is
the
a spin-off
Goodreads.
series for it as well.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That is so cool. Okay. It actually sounds really interesting. I'm seeing words like aristocrat.
Yeah, it's kind of
Noble woman.
it's about like a spear princess who gets married
that.
off into like this horde of effectively the horde, and she's kind of just going with it. She's like, this is my fate. Cards been
How
dealt.
good is marriage of convenience? How
Yeah,
good is
yeah.
the father just throwing away the daughter and then her being like, I guess I have to go, and then being like, oh, he's so good looking. Oh, I love him. Then she goes back and he goes after her every time.
Yeah, yeah.
So good.
It's actually, it's a beautifully written book, and it's one that I will always defend because I always go back every now and then and I do a reread, and I'm like, I love this book so much.
Still hits. Still hits.
Yeah, it still hits.
Hey, I love that. We'll do a little reel with that
Yeah.
little clip so we can get it out there to a few more people.
Beautiful cover. He's got he looks
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it?
he looks, is it a demon? Is he demon? Is he demonish?
It's kind of like a monster. He's monster, but not like a monster romance. Do you know what I mean?
Like he's a creature. A
Yes.
magical
Yeah.
creature.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Okay, so let's talk about your books.
Yes.
So, for those listening who maybe haven't heard of you before, give us your little elevator pitch. What are your books all about?
So this is my first series, and I guess this series is about, at the core theme of it, it's about everybody's got, I call them little bits of darkness, but, in a negative context, you call them weaknesses and so on and so forth. And the whole theme behind this book is that if you actually embrace those little bits of darkness or the things that we consider weaknesses, if you actually embrace them and just say, actually, this is just part of me and I'm going to embrace it and I use it in the right ways, actually you find more strength by embracing those elements that people don't consider perfect. And so that's kind of the whole theme of it is especially for Istrid and even Zane, the MMC, is that as they've embraced kind of, their weaknesses throughout the storyline, they just go from strength to strength to strength. And they have this ultimate power as individuals, but actually together at the end. And so, that's kind of what it's about. And it's something that I learned through my own corporate career is, when I first started back in the day, there was all this 360-degree view of your, your rating as an employee. But when I first started, there was very much the strengths and weaknesses. And then when I went to Amazon, and it's particularly I worked for an amazing female leader at Amazon, she was like, no, they're not weaknesses. They're just growth
No,
areas. So how
you're
do you
not two
embrace
things.
them?
You're not
Yeah.
good and bad.
Exactly. Exactly. So she was like, no, don't consider them weaknesses. They're actually growth areas. So how do you kind of embrace them and learn and grow from them as opposed to go, well, I'm just bad at that, so I'm not going to do that, right? And so that kind of spurred it on to that, but then also combined that with the inspiration of the whole question of nurture versus nature with, I
Love
suppose,
that.
how do you kind of couple that all on together? So yeah, that's at the core of it. That's probably the elevator pitch at the core theme of it.
Yes, I can see all of I was just going through the story as you were explaining that and
Yeah.
picking out the little bits. It's an amazing fantasy world that you've created,
Thanks.
which blows my mind when people just can, I don't know, just conjure up this whole world. Tell us about that. How does that just manifest?
Oh, it's quite funny. How do I put this? I do want to write a contemporary novel one day, but the thing I love about fantasy is that as long as it makes sense from a physical level, like a physics level, you can do whatever you want, right? You could have the sun is purple and you can explain why the sun is purple.
And we just go, yeah, okay. And they're like, well, there's twin
obviously.
suns. And we're like, yeah, obviously, that's cool.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Yeah. But I think that's what I love about fantasy, although it is funny because you go, oh, I want this to be the thing in the world. And then you go, but how do I explain that? And you'll spend days trying to figure out a way to explain it. And then you'll be in the shower one day and you'll be like, oh, I've got it. And it just comes to you like completely out of the blue.
Because you never set out to be an author, right? You never sat at home and you were like, I'm going to be an author one day. I'm going to submit, junior stories. You were working in the corporate world and you started reading and were like, fuck, I love escapism. I want to give that gift to other readers. And then you just wrote a goddamn book.
I tried
in the shower.
Hopefully it works.
My legs. I'm like, come on, Sam, shave those legs, gal. An inch is too long.
So Forgiving Darkness is book number 1, which is out now, and it follows the main story is Estrid, right? And did I say that right?
Yeah, Estrid,
It's like Astrid, yeah. So talk us through, without any spoilers, obviously, what are some of your favorite bits in that first book? Because I guess that book's going to be like your baby, isn't it? That's the first one.
Yeah. I think the bits that I love the most in that book is probably when Astrid finds Zane, because obviously that's kind of the chain reaction to everything being set off. That's one of the key catalyst moments. But I think another thing that I also love about that key element in that book is when she goes back to save him. So, she kind of puts aside the shit they've had to deal with as a couple and she goes, well, I'm actually going to be the better person here and go and save you type thing. And so that's one of the things I love. And as a character, I loved her growth is that it was really hard at times with her as a character because I actually, as a writer, resonated more with Zane. And so trying to write her as a character, I had to put myself in some uncomfortable situations. Like, would I really do that as a person? Probably not, but I'm going to make you do it, right?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting.
Love the meeting because I think nothing will beat the excitement of going, I feel like anyone who's read fantasy and has read ACOTAR is like, fuck, is this Tamlin? Is this Tamlin?
Yeah.
Is this guy? Is this the guy? Do I get attached? Do I start looking at him critically? And then the tension is like, is he going to come back in the third act and be like, the discarded lover? So I think nothing will beat that first. Like, oh, here he is. Here he is.
Yeah. And you feel it too, right? As a reader, you're on the edge as well, right there with her.
Yeah. And you just don't know, because she's been, she's been made to do all these horrible things in her past. And so for her to let someone in is taking a massive risk and a gamble, right?
Yeah, for sure. I've got to say, in book 1, one of my favourite characters as well, I don't think this is a spoiler, is Rafe. Her dog.
I know. Everyone loves
Rafe. He's just such a great little, addition to her because it makes her, as you say, she's had to do some dark things, right? And it makes her feel vulnerable again because she's got this,
it softens her a little bit because you can see that side.
Thank you, Sam. Yes, that's what I was trying to say.
I got you,
What
girl.
a fantastic character. Is Rafe based on, do you have pets? Do you have a dog? Is he kind of based off animals you have, or did he just pop into the story?
So I've got, at the time when writing this book, I had 2 sausage dogs, Diego, who's actually sleeping on the couch next to me, and his brother Manuel. And Manny died. Yeah, Manny died last year from cancer, unfortunately. But he was like my he is like my soulmate in animal form.
His spirit sausage.
So Rafe was actually mirrored off Manny because he was just like, Manny was like my little dude that always was just like with me all the time. But yeah, so Rafe is mirrored off Manny particularly. But it's funny, since Manny's passed away, I've actually seen some of the traits that I've written of Rafe come out in Diego, or Diego's kind of, so I think it's now almost like it's a hybrid of both dogs that I've had, yeah, but they're sausage dogs. They're not a big bad wolf.
Yeah. But they are up here. That's what matters. They think they are.
Big dog, yeah, personalities and little bodies.
Dogs. Exactly.
Yeah.
They're going to make up for those little legs.
Yeah.
Are they mini Dachshunds or standards?
They're actually in between. So Diego was born a purebred mini, but actually he was, ended up being a little bit bigger than the breeder wanted, which is why she sold him. And then Manny was a cross between a standard and a mini, so he kind of was in the middle one as well.
Because when you see the standards, it's as someone whose minis are more common in my
Yes.
I see a standard and I'm like, whoa, it's like a
They're
big
quite
boy
big,
that's
eh?
cut his legs off. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're quite thick, but they are so low to the ground.
Yeah, but yeah, so everyone loves Rafe. He is one of my favorite characters. Yeah, he cuts kind of some of the tension in the book as well, and he adds in a level of comedic relief without it being like a person type thing,
Yes. Yeah, no, I
And
agree.
we all do that. We all have animals
fantastic
and give
addition.
them personality and sometimes voices.
Yeah.
And it's a fantasy novel, obviously, but it's a little bit of reality that I can tolerate and I enjoy, like it's not making me miserable. I'm thinking, oh, it's like Rudolph.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't remember which one is which, but Tamara learnt, and I've forgotten which one, but are you familiar with pantsing or plotting, writing style?
Yes.
Are you a pantser or a plotter?
Now, this is a really interesting one. Book 1, I was a plotter. Like, I plotted everything down to individual scenes. So I did chapter level, scene level plotting. I went
insane.
So I had a big spreadsheet that just did everything. And then
Excel spreadsheet?
Yeah, at the time it's Excel spreadsheet, although I switched now to a software called Plotter, which kind of makes everything a lot easier to manage. But at the time when I did Forgiving Darkness, it was actually meant to be a trilogy. And so I plotted out the overarching story across 3 books. And then I was like, right, put the other 2 books aside and then just go really deep into Forgiving Darkness. So I plotted down to the nth degree. Then when it came down to Embracing Light, because I had the overarching story, I started plotting out Embracing Light. And then I was starting to think about the 3rd book, and I was like, 3rd book's going to be really freaking boring. So let's actually make it a duology now. So that's where I can condense it down into a duology. And then I got to 50% of the way through of trying to do scene by scene plotting. And I was like, no, this just isn't working anymore. Let's just go with the flow now. So Embracing Light's kind of a hybrid between the 2. But I think because I had this overall plot of the whole series, I was able to
Focus on
a little bit more of Embracing Light. And what's interesting is that when I get back from holiday in December, when I start working on my next series, and I was like, what will I do? Will I go down to the plotting level like I did with like Forgiving Darkness, or will I try and pants it a bit more? And so the jury's out, but I'm a fan for either. Like, I think it's good to have a good skeleton in place.
Structure.
Yeah, because you know where to go. Like, the thing that freaks me out is, like, I know some writers will be like, I write chapter 1, then I write chapter 30, then I write chapter 3. I'm like, no, that freaks me out.
That is crazy.
That freaks me out. It has to be linear, right?
Well, because then otherwise mentally you've already gone and tackled, I guess, an issue that hasn't even occurred yet.
Yeah. Like, I do make notes. So if I'm writing something and I'm like, oh, the downstream effect of this is that.
Right.
I do need to make a note. I'm like, okay, you need to solve this, but solve it later. But at least just make a note for my future self to deal with it.
The other way around, I'd be like, what if I'm talking about something that happens later, or I'm setting it up too obviously, or I forget that that's at the end. So then I write, oh, yeah, she's got this. And they're like, I'm not smart enough to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to that's where I definitely like I know some of my writer friends have Excel spreadsheets that just kind of keep notes on. Like I said, I use Plotter now, which is really good. But yeah, as long as you're making kind of notes going, okay, cool, save this for later type thing. And if you think about the overall story arc, especially for a series, you kind of have an inkling of where it's going to fit, at least from if you think about like a 3-act kind of structure, you kind of know which act it's going to fit into.
Yes, yeah.
And so you can kind of make a note for it later on.
Yeah. That's so interesting because as well, you're trying to remember not just plot details, as you say, like things you've set up for later down the track, just the little mundane details about this world you've created, like having to carry everything through.
Yeah, that's the hardest bit sometimes, especially I found writing the second book, Embracing Light, is like, you're like, oh, damn it, I can't say that because then that completely contradicts what I've already kind of written and built up there. And so, yeah, it is harder, I think, writing the second book because you have to carry on these details through. Like if you do, exactly, like if you deviate too much. I mean, the good thing about the Embracing Light is it does take place in another world. So while it's still connected to the first book from a character level, because it's based in fairy as opposed to the human world, you can kind of deviate slightly. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not a stretch.
I definitely found that.
Yeah.
And I found that world easier to immerse myself in. I don't know. I've read both of them, but I really enjoyed Embracing Light. I feel like Forgiving Darkness set up for it so well. And you could just immerse yourself in there. Like, I don't know, because I already knew about the human world. When I got to this other one, I was like, oh, yeah. Obviously. So, talking Embracing Light.
Yeah.
It releases November 7th, right? Is that right? Which is Friday.
Yeah, next week Friday, which is pretty scary.
Yeah, that's when this episode is going to come out. So we're going to hopefully launch it on the same day. Were there any bits in it that actually surprised you as you were writing them? So, that just came to you.
Yeah. Probably the ending. The ending, when I was writing it, I was like, wow, okay, this is not where I expected the book to go, but we're going to go there.
Try not to spoil it.
I know.
I didn't read it.
You'll have to read it.
I haven't read the second one because I didn't want to spoil it because I don't possess any type of subtlety. So I was like, don't read it. It's not out. Don't read it. It's not out.
Because it ends in a cliffhanger as well. And
the second one.
Not as you yes. Yeah,
Come
I know.
on.
She does this.
Come on, girl.
Not for a different, I'm guessing, your next series. Is it going to be a duology as well or a trilogy or you're not sure how that's going to go yet?
Yeah, I don't know how that's going to go yet. I'm thinking it's just going to be a single. So my original plan for the Binary Soul series was it was going to be a trilogy and then it went down to a duology and now it's kind of a duology and I want to do side books for characters. So the next book will obviously be, and at the moment I'm thinking just a single story for that character and those two characters, but then I want to do another side series for other characters because a lot of readers are like, I want to hear about so-and-so's story.
Yes.
So yeah.
I'm just sitting here thinking like there were a lot of characters and I did wonder if that kind of was intentional or it just kind of happened where they had their own shit going on that was separate to, what was happening with Estrid and Zane. And I was, when it ended on a cliffhanger, I was like annoyed that we're on a cliffhanger, obviously, because I'm like, I want to know now. But it made so much sense at the same time that I was like, oh, well, yeah, obviously, we've got to learn more about this.
Yeah. I'm not a reader who enjoys like a series that's like 6, 7, 8 books long on the same characters.
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, okay, wrap it up because it gets really repetitive and you kind of just go, okay, I'm going to stop reading after book 3 and that's it, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You're like, they get together, the tension, they have one conflict, they get back together and you're like, great. And then they have another kidnapping and you're like, oh.
Yeah. So that's why I kind of condensed it down to a duology. I was like, oh, if I'm not going to enjoy writing it, people are going to enjoy reading it, which is why I was like, I'll make it a duology. And then I'd much prefer to have side books or side series based off other characters, which is why I invested so much time in my side characters because it gives the series a longevity without it making really repetitive because you're exploring new people, potentially new worlds and other things like that that you haven't seen before.
And it's a real
So
skill
yeah,
to
it
give
was really
enough.
intentional.
It's
Yeah.
a real skill to give enough to people going, are we going to get a book for him? Because you've like dipped a bit in there that they've gone, oh, that's okay. Are we coming back to him? I really like that. And I think it
Yeah.
speaks to your history as being a reader that you were like, oh, the third book will be shit. The third book will be boring. People don't want to read
Yeah.
that. I'll make it a duology and instead have a quick, hard, fast one book, second book, and leave us satisfied until now where I found out I mightn't be unsatisfied. So I'm really looking forward to that.
I think the main thing is the overarching story we get out, that we get the resolution we're looking for, right?
Thank you.
But
Good,
we're
good,
left
good.
The
with
details. It's the
yeah.
details that people
Yeah.
want. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they'll get them in the spin-off book. I mean, I'm already starting to plan it and all that sort of stuff in terms of what the new spin-off series or book will look like. And you'll get the details for, kind of the ending of this series. So you'll get that in the next series.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, you'll just have to wait a bit.
Talking about how did you decide what spelling conventions to go with? So I noticed you use is it Americanized of like armor,
American.
tumor,
Yeah.
rumor. How did you pick which one to go with? Because obviously you are from New Zealand. We claim you are our own.
It's basically marketing.
you.
Like where is my main market going to be from a reader perspective, from a buyer perspective, all that sort of stuff. And ultimately it's going to be United States, right? So it's kind of fitting what I need to do to fit into that market, which is why I went with the American spelling, I suppose, and writing conventions rather
Because you don't want the larger population reading it being like, have you misspelt that? And then going, hi, Kat, you have spelt this wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Although it was really annoying because with Embracing Light, I did American from the start, whereas Forgiving Darkness, I started off with UK spelling and then I was like, hold on, why am I doing this? So I had to go back and kind of redo things a little bit. So there were a couple of like hiccups in Forgiving Darkness from an American readership perspective. And I was like, sorry, guys.
And it's hard to find
Kiwi
them
reading, I did not notice.
It's hard to fix
But
them
do you
because
know
of course
what?
they're spelled correctly. It's not like you're looking for an error. You're
Yes.
looking for conventions, which is exhausting. It's very tiring.
Well, it's also like why it speaks to invest in a really good editor or a set of editors.
Yeah.
Because you as an author, especially when you're going back and making changes and stuff like that, you cannot see the wood from the trees. You've read your manuscript so many times that you just don't pick up on those things anymore. So it's like, investing in a really good editor to be like, hey, I've made this change. Please make sure you carry it forward type thing. And, obviously a good editor will do that for you. So, but it's quite interesting. Another author friend of mine who I follow on Instagram, she was actually saying that even though spelling and grammatical issues, obviously you do not want them in your books because they need to be dealt with. But the odd one here or there, especially with the rise of AI, she actually calls them bits of humanity.
Yes.
And so she was like, it's actually,
this.
kind of a bit refreshing to kind of come across a little like maybe not 20 million, but, like one or two in an entire book. You're kind of like, okay, this is all this a human,
Makes me feel smart. I don't know about anyone else, but when I pick up on one, I've picked up on one that they missed.
This is why I love editing. So I help Kelly Wish with her books, and the first time I did it, I just thought, how cool that me can help you with your success, and you've created this amazing world, and I love finding errors. But we've just switched to, for her last book, we have done a double edit, so there's been two of us in the document, and you're phenomenal that I will go through an entire thing and be like, right, I've critical light, and then the second editor, Rachel, will come in and be like, oh, you've missed this, oh, Gail, you've missed this, and you bump off each other, and if we have questions, there's both of us going, oh, well, I read it this way. Did you read it that way? So I think I love contributing to her success and being like a little, tag on the end, because I could never do what you do. I can't create worlds, but I will find that you've used the wrong tense, Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think for both books, I use Hot Tree editing for both books, and the end-to-end process from manuscript critique, which is developmental edit, right through to proofread. There were 4 editors that went through. And then on top of that, I had an independent 5th editor do a final proofread just to come at it from a completely, fresh angle and pick things apart again. Like, I mean, you can edit for days, right?
Oh my God.
But it is, to your point, it is interesting having And you have different editors with different skill sets, right? You'll have editors that'll be looking at the big picture going, does this actually make sense at
Yes, that is not me.
story level, at a commercial level, at a, flow level, all that sort of stuff. And then you'll have the editors that'll come in and go, yeah, to your point, tense, technical structure, all of that sort of stuff. And so you need to kind of have all of those eyes on it.
And then I saw in your grimoire little chats
We've done our
that you
research.
mentioned as well, you read your reviews, good or bad, and you take that constructive ones because we don't like it for the sake of it. Rubbish
Huckery
review.
mole
I hate
review.
those.
Totally.
Yeah, that's what we call the huckery mole review. But the constructive ones, you actually read those and take the feedback on. Is that can you talk more about that?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think of negative reviews, the constructive ones at least, as an opportunity to kind of hone your craft more. Like, don't get me wrong, the ones that are just being negative for negative sake, I'm like, well, thanks very much. You can, kind of
Fuck off,
go over
Sharon.
there. But the ones that actually kind of go, hey, I'm giving this a 1 or a 2 star or even a 3 star, because of X, Y, Z. This is what I thought it could have been better. This is, structural, plot, character development, whatever it is. And for Embracing Light, I actually went through and I was like, okay, cool. What can I improve on? Haven't I answered in book 1 that people want to have answered? What are some of the details that I've missed in my world building or my character development?
Yeah, what are the common things that people are missing?
Exactly. And basically, to your point, like that's exactly what it is. I put them into themes. Like, was it a technical craft perspective? Was it a character perspective, plot, world building, and kind of just went all through that. And I tried to tie up as much as possible, but also thinking about, future books that I write, I'll take a lot of those kind of reviews and go, okay, cool. If I had to start a new series again, what would I do differently?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Constantly evolving.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it's one of those things people I've heard of people who want to write books before who sit there and they're like, I'm not good enough to write it. And it's like, well, you're not going to be unless you start putting yourself out there, and every book is going to get better and better and better. And that's how you learn, right? And that's how you grow. And I would like to think the book world is mostly a safe space for that and that creativity.
It can be. It can also be like ruthless, right? Like those 1-star reviews where people just kind of leave like a one-liner of why they didn't like it.
This? I'm like, cool, that's helping no one, Sharon.
Yeah, like that's really brutal because you're just like, I can take nothing away from that other than you just really didn't like my book and you've just got to kind of get over it. But I think, I think the beauty of the book world is that when you do find those people who, I suppose, even though they invested their time in you, they're still giving you that opportunity that, hey, cool, this is what I thought, but here's some, some opportunities for improvement. So it can be really brutal, but it can be really awesome because you have people that are actually invested in helping authors or helping readers,
Because I also think it's valuable in a marketing sense of if you do get those, like I think 3 stars are so valuable in saying that I loved XYZ. For me, I didn't enjoy, this trope, this whatever. And then you're like, cool, when I market this to people, I need to make sure I specify it's got this, that, and the other, and hit the things that those 3-star people are loving, and the things that they're not loving, you're like, oh, cool, she doesn't like DP, well, this is not the book for her. It's constructive. But we've talked about before, the 1 stars was something dramatic or attention seeking, like, what was this? I'm like, who are you thinking is going to read that and go, yes, sister, that's what I thought too.
And I feel like the bigger you get, the more of those unconstructive 1 stars you'll get. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I feel like being a newer author, people are, and indie author as well, people are more gentle type thing. Whereas stalk some big authors, because one of the things that when I started out writing, my writing coach was like, have a look at the authors that you admire the most and read their reviews. Read the 5-star reviews, read the 1-star reviews, find out, what people like, what people don't like, all that sort of stuff. And so when I was starting out writing, I was like, okay, cool, here are like 3 of my favorite authors, and I just stalked their reviews. And I did feel like a lot, as the bigger the author, the more shitty 1-star reviews that they got that added nothing of value, right?
Yeah. Who were your 3 favorite authors that you stalked?
Well, one was obviously Sarah J. Maas at the time, but although I don't know if I'd have her as like she is still one of my favorites, but I don't know if she's the favorite.
Yes.
But yeah, when I started out, Sarah J. Maas, definitely Amelia Hutchins, and then Jay Bree. Bonzo Tie, obviously. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I
we
love
all,
it.
when you start off, you get, what you see as high volume traffic, right? So we see the Sarah J. Maas, we see the
Yeah.
common one. And then when you keep going and you're like, oh, actually, it's mainly indies, or like Kelly Hart was originally, indie, and then she went trad. But I think I feel the
Yes.
same. J. Maas will still be some of her, my
Well,
most
she's like
favorite
the OG romanticy queen, right?
exactly.
Yeah.
But there are now people that write in a way that I connect with more, that if they're indie, or if I've seen them as if I'm involved in your process, if I'm ARC reading, or if I'm on your reader group, I want you to succeed. I'm happier reading your books. It is more joy than someone who has got a worldwide millionaire, phenomenon. I'm going to go hard for those indie women who are, raising kids in corporate jobs and then going home and writing a book that makes me happy.
That's lovely.
So talking about women. Well, where did I go?
Good
with
segue.
that?
Good segue,
Talking
Mara.
about
Woman,
and then that's
woman.
coffee.
I was just thinking. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to make it without another coffee.
We'll be right. So you recently shared Jodie creates artworks, renderings
Yes.
of one of your scenes. Talk us through that process and the artwork process, because this is another little small business that you're supporting with your business, and I'd just love to know more.
Honestly, like, artwork is such an important part of, I think, books, because it brings characters to life, it brings scenes to life. But finding good artists is so hard, especially in this age of AI. And I'll be honest, I actually got scammed by an artist saying that they were legitimate artists, and they actually ended up being called out for AI. So there was money that I had spent that I can never use for artwork again. Because of that. But I'm really grateful for going through that process, because it was actually an AI art buster called AI Andy. And they, I remember waking up one morning, I just got the final piece delivered from the artist, and I had a Facebook, Instagram message from AI Andy saying, hey, just to let you know, you've been scammed. I was like, huh? And so I went into this huge, big detail with her of like, why can you show me, like, what are the things that, like, how do I know this? And can you like help me identify why this artist is actually using AI, how, all that sort of stuff, so that I can kind of, stop it from happening again. And it was really useful. So even though I lost money, because it's money that I can never recoup, it's artwork that I can never and will never use, the whole process of going through that has opened up my eyes in terms of, just understanding how AI has creeped into so many artists, the world of artistry, how it's hurting artists, but also how it's hurting authors. And so that was a massive learning curve. And then since that time with AI Andy, I've been ruthless about the artists that I use. And so, just going online, finding artists. But even what's even crazier about the art world now is that there are some big name artists who claim to be artists, but they're actually AI.
No,
and I won't mention names.
illegal.
I won't mention names, but it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So basically for me now, I take recommendations from other authors of, like, I look at the artwork, like, whoever used, all that sort of stuff. Athena Bliss, who's obviously an amazing Kiwi author as well. She's also an artist, and she's redone a lot of my artwork for me. She's also gone to me, if there's ever an artist that you want to use, send me their kind of Instagram or their portfolio, and I'll kind of pick it apart and go, yep, this is legitimate, this is not. And so that's the key thing at the moment now, is like every time you find an artist, it's kind of, okay, cool. Check out the Instagram, check out the Instagram. How many authors have they worked with? Like, I've worked with some amazing artists now, and I'm going, okay, cool. I will go back to them because I know that they're authentic. I know they're legitimate, all that sort of stuff. Or if I'm unsure about them, I'll get it checked by Athena and stuff. But yeah, it's a wild west out there when it comes to artwork.
That never crossed my mind, and I only say that because one of our best friends is an artist, and she's just started doing art for our friend Kelly, and I see the time she puts into it and the effort, and I just could never imagine her going and, like, it's so something that I wouldn't even fathom, and then to manipulate people into paying for your half-assed 10-minute whatever time. That's absolutely devastating for a small author starting out. That must have really knocked your confidence.
Yeah, well, I mean, it did. And I was just like, shit, what do I do now? Because, I had all these grand plans to work with this person, and I was like, oh, cut that off.
Of course.
And also amazing that AI Andy was like, hey, coming from a place of you didn't know this has happened. I'm educating, I'm helping you. Like,
I
No.
guess you don't know
there
what
is
you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Exactly. And we're in such a society of cancel culture. You're like, give me a chance. I don't want to do this either. I'm not party to this AI.
Yeah, no, it was like, I'm so grateful that they did reach out to me and just be like, hey, just to let you know, yeah, you've been scammed type thing. Because, yeah, can you imagine if I'd gone through with it and then
Oh
it'd
my
been
God.
kind
And
of
you
caught
released
up
it,
in
you're like,
this-
here we go. And everyone's like,
Yeah.
God.
But yeah, it's all about research. So it's all about finding out, artists that, are authentic, who, have a good track record of working with other authors. You also you can and it's also finding those industry experts like Athena Bliss or Mage on Duty or AI Andy. You can be like, hey, and so yeah, AI Andy and Athena Bliss are like my go-tos for, hey, I'm thinking about using this artist. Are they authentic? And they'll go through and do a whole vetting process. And I will say, they're doing it off their own bats because they want to support artists.
Yes.
Like, they're not charging fees or anything like
Yeah.
that to get vetted.
Yeah.
But I'm like, it's awesome to kind of have those connections to be like, cool, you're helping
Yeah.
artists and authors make the right decisions, right?
Yeah, for sure.
we love
So,
that.
so self-published, that's something that you've learned through this process. Did you know anything about publishing prior to getting into being an author, or is this all stuff you've had to learn along the way?
All stuff I've had to learn along the way. Like, originally I had these grand plans of wanting to be trade published and then I was talking to Andrea Stewart. I don't know who, our Bone Shard daughter.
I don't know it.
I know that cover. I feel
I'll
like
bring
I've
it up.
heard that.
She's great. She was,
On the TBR.
yeah, she's a
Oh,
great
I've
author.
seen this cover before. This one.
Yes. Yeah. And
I've
she
seen that.
actually said to me that when I was having a call with her one day for a bit of mentorship, she was like, yeah, it took me 6 years to get published. So she submitted her book to an agent, and it was a 6-year process for it to actually be processed from agent to in stores. At that point I was like, I don't have 6
can't do it.
years.
can't
I'm
do
almost
that.
40.
Too
I don't
long.
have 6 years to waste. Gosh, wait, 6 years. I'll be bloody 46 by the time that happens. And
I'm
I'm
too
already way
impatient.
over the hill,
Yeah.
right?
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's when I went down the self-publishing route. And I was like, you know what? Bugger it. I'm just going to do self-publishing and kind of, and also what's interesting is a lot more authors these days are starting out self-publishing, building up their back catalogue of book and then switching to trad. We are seeing a lot of that happen. And so I was like, well, there's nothing, as long as you're not kind of putting out junk, there's nothing from stopping me doing a trad thing later, but at least I can start going with, creating my own kind of books, but also creating my own readership and following.
And evolving
and,
your writing, right? Taking that feedback on and evolving rather than
Exactly.
sitting there for 6 years going over and chewing the same. It's the same book, is that right? So it took you 6 years on the same story?
She was writing other works, but yeah, it was basically 6 years to get that first book out. So yeah, so I was just like, that kind of was a light bulb moment for me going, okay, no, I'm going to quit here and actually start self-publishing. I mean, the only downside about self-publishing is that you're on the line for a lot of the costs, right? When you don't go trad publishing, you get editors from the publishing houses that support you, you get cover artists, you get some marketing support, you get a lot of things. Whereas when you go self-publishing, you have to pay and front up for absolutely everything.
You're the marketer, you're the social media, you're the writer.
Yeah, exactly. And editing and cover art and all that sort of stuff. And so you do have to be ready to put some investment behind it. And you also have to be ready that initial investment may not pay off. Like, it may not immediately just go, it'll take time to do that. But I've really enjoyed it, and I've learned a lot throughout the process. And there's things that I definitely would do every time, if I think about the things that I did for Forgiving Darkness versus Embracing Light, there's things that I'd already do differently and I have done differently. And in the next book, there'll be things that I'll do differently again. And so you just kind of keep iterating, you get your process a lot more leaner and all that sort of stuff as well.
And you get quicker and better at it, and it doesn't take you as long to do
Yeah.
something. Did any of your muggle
Exactly.
job aspects, so your non-author job, your muggle job, did any of that
Yes.
help you in this process? Like, or were you like, how the fuck do I use Canva? What is a reel?
Not so much on the marketing side. I think that my job, the big thing with my job is that it provided the investment needed to make things happen, like, to purchase editing services and stuff like that. So that was where the big thing really helped. But I guess also just thinking, with my job, especially, reflecting back, when you're working in a corporate job and stuff, you reflect back on, what could I do better in my own. And so it's just that kind of self-reflection, like, what could I do better next time? What could be leaner? What could be tighter? All that sort of stuff. And so it's just an ever ending iterative process, right?
Yeah. Okay, so you're having this amazing event to celebrate your release. Talk us through this, how people can get tickets, if there's still tickets.
I think there's still about 20 tickets available. So if you want to come along, get in quick. But yes, no, it's going to be a fun event. And I wanted to do, so with Forgiving Darkness, I had it at a little bookstore here in Petone, Schrodinger's Books. And I was like, oh, that was really fun. Yeah, and Mary Force at Schrodinger's was amazing to work with. But then for Embracing Light, I was like, well, I want to do something a little bit different. And a lot of readers that I had connected with over the time were based in Auckland or were near Auckland. So they were like, oh, we'd love to come, So I was like, oh, bugger it, let's do an Auckland event this time round. So we're doing something a little bit different. We're not doing a bookshop. We're doing it at the Broken Lantern bar in Ponsonby, but we're just going to make it really fun and have character cocktails and mocktails for those as well. And then we've got these amazing goodie bags which are filled of bookish merch, and my PA extraordinaire, Megan, she's amazing. She's actually gone out to some amazing authors and companies, and they're putting in like either little samples or little gifts as part of the overall launch.
Cool. We love Megan. Good job, Megan.
I know. And well, it's also because I was saying to Megan, I was like, I'd love, for, other businesses to be able to be promoted as well through this. So there's some really cool, like I say, products and authors who have put in either freebies or little samples and stuff like that. So we're just going to make a fun night. So the big thing also is like, I don't want people to feel like they have to come to the launch and buy my books. Like, you do not have to buy my books to launch. It's more about just coming in, socializing with bookish people, having fun, getting to know each other and build a little community. And that's really the big thing.
I love that. But if people do want to buy your books, where can we, if we're not in Auckland and at this event, where can we get your books?
So for the moment, I'm doing 2025. So I've got plans for 20 special editions. At the moment, I've got the 2025 glitter. I'll get a copy quickly.
Glitter?
I don't know if you can see it, but that's you can see it slightly.
Yeah.
The glitter cover. And so that's the 2025 special editions. And that's the one that the Grimoire New Zealand.
Does it have a spread
you can buy through. It does, yes.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah.
Stunning. So we can get that at the Grimoire?
You can get that at the Grimoire. So Anastasia's doing all of that for me, which is amazing. And that's the other thing about the launch is I'm so grateful for the Grimoire New Zealand partnering with me. It's their first indie author collaboration. So
we've never seen something to the scale. We're so excited to see an indie author do something like this. We both are not in Tamaki Makoto and I Cannot Fly, but we have heard about their new space and we're hoping, and like you said, future events will be in Taranaki, which will be cool.
Well, yeah, I think definitely next year, as I've already said to Anastasia, we'll aim for next year is to be held at the Grimoire New Zealand's kind of new space. But I said to her, look, let's partner for this in terms of the distribution side of things. So she's got, the 2025 glitter special editions on her site. Otherwise, I wasn't planning to do trad paperbacks for Embracing Light, at least to buy from me. So you can still get that off Amazon or Ingram Sparks and whatnot. But then next year, I've literally just got hopefully a sample coming for a 2026 special edition, which will be foiled in a slipcase, which is going to be fun.
So exciting! No,
look at you.
So those will be, and those will be event ones.
Yeah. Oh, that's
will you
so
be doing
cool,
any
Kat.
book plates or any sticker signing for those who couldn't make the event?
Yeah. Definitely, yeah. And I think we got for a romantic adventure you can do, they've just announced that you can do, is it personal shoppers through Book It and Send It?
Okay, that's in Christchurch, isn't it? That's
Yes. Yeah, so
in
if you can't
May?
attend, it's in March. So if
Someone
you
tell
can't
me what
attend
that
the
is.
event, hey?
Someone tell me what a
It-
personal shopper is.
So
Oh,
basically
so
it
someone
means
who'll
that you-
go around the event.
Oh my
Yeah.
God,
Shop
for you
for
and
you.
get them all signed.
yes.
How do I do that?
Go onto the Romantic Adventures Facebook page and website and check it out, because that means that you can go and get all of your books picked up and signed and all that
signed.
sort of stuff and signed, and then they just ship it to you.
God, people are so clever.
It's
Solving
clever.
problems.
So clever. Alrighty. Should we finish
Yeah.
up with our quickies, Sam?
Yes.
Yes, yes.
Exciting.
I love quickies. Sam's so good at these.
Sam's average at these. This is just purely myself. This is self-gaining here. We hear that you have a contemporary romance novel bouncing around upstairs in that big, beautiful brain of yours. Without ruining it for us, because, I won't, what are your top 3 romance tropes contemporary?
Oh, so contemporary's interesting because I don't actually read a lot of contemporary, but I want to write one.
Yes. What 3 would you be
But-
picking from?
Ooh, where would I be picking from? Probably still forced proximity.
That.
Yeah. Arranged marriage. I mean, it's still, like,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And enemies to lovers. I mean, I love good
This
enemies
is
to
gonna
lovers.
be perfect.
Obviously.
Delicious.
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah.
What would you rather drop in the bath when reading? Your paperback, a special edition hardback, or your Kindle?
Back,
Oh,
definitely.
yeah, she's going. So
Yeah.
sorry. Kindle's not coming back
Yeah,
from the dead.
same.
So
No, it's not.
I famously don't read paperbacks in the bath, but I would throw in a paperback over my Kindle. I would just sacrifice them to the gods.
100%. Because, I mean, like, you got to think about what's easily replaceable. Paperbacks.
Yeah.
Paperbacks.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Now, final quickie. What court would you be in
Oh, from my world?
from your world?
Yes, from your world.
What would I be in? Winter.
Same.
Because I don't
Yeah.
I actually like winter as a season.
Love
Like
being
winter is
cold.
my jam. Yeah.
Yeah.
I hate summer. I
Me
hate
too.
summer
It's
with
too
a
hot.
vengeance. Yeah.
I love
not sure
it as
you
well
massage.
that in the winter court, like they had they just never felt the cold the same as all the others, right? They
That's normal
were
for them.
they had the magical ability to just
Yeah.
be fine, and I love that.
Yeah. Like me, you put me in like negative. So I went to Chicago once for work, and it was like negative 15 degrees. And all my colleagues were like, "Oh my God, it's so horrible here." And I'm like, "This is great. I love this."
I can't feel my face. It's wonderful. Amazing. Well,
Awesome.
thank you so much for enjoying us. We could have kept yapping, but I was like, let's try it.
Oh my God, we've
Let's
done
Keep it
it.
on
keep
task.
on
Keep it on
track.
task.
Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to make some little snippet reels so that people can hear about that event prior to this episode dropping. But if you're listening
Amazing.
to this
Thank you,
episode
ladies.
on Friday the 7th, Kat's book is now out. So go check it out.
She is
And
a
if you're going to the
completed
event,
series
enjoy.
author.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just thank you so much for having me. And it's so nice to also do a little podcast with some local girls in the hut too.
Oh, yeah. We
Yeah.
aren't smart enough
Yeah,
to
love
figure
that.
out how to do it in person yet.
We'll have to catch up over a wine or something.
Yes, I would love that. Yeah. All righty. Well, thank you
Awesome.
so much for getting a little bit lit with us.
That's all right. Thanks for having me. Ciao. Bye.